Fitness Pro Mentors community, welcome to another episode of the podcast. My name is Brandon, and I am committed here at Fitness Pro Mentors, helping you 2 to 3x your in-person personal training practice. I wholeheartedly believe if you have the proper business systems, marketing plans, sales processes, you can have the career of your dreams. And our mentorship is committed to helping people just like you do exactly that. Speaking of people just like you, I want to introduce you to someone who is a good friend, someone who's been a student of Fitness Pro Mentors, someone who's done a lot of really incredible things and arguably was already successful before doing our program, Mr. Lewis Valentine. Lewis, how you doing today?
I'm good, Brandon. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Oh my
Look
gosh,
forward
Lewis,
to
I
it.
am super honored to have you. I admire and respect you so much. I mean, honestly, you are a career trainer. You've done an amazing thing helping so many folks. So, Lewis, you don't mind me asking before we kind of get into today and ask some of these crazy questions I got for you, do you mind telling people a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Started off 20 years ago in the business after finishing graduate school for sculpture and art and deciding, didn't want to do that for a living. Um, Had to find a job, so I started selling fitness equipment, realized I hated retail, got certified as a trainer, started getting some clients. I went through probably 6, 7 years of struggling as a new trainer, trying to figure out how to actually help people. Um, I've been so blessed to be introduced to some amazing educational content.
Mm-hmm.
Um, RTS, MAT, MSS, FPM. Throw more acronyms out there probably. Um, but it's just been a heck of a ride. Just been a lot of fun working with people, learning about exercise and human body, how it moves, and trying to impart that into other people's lives.
I love that. I love that. Now, I got a question for you, and I think I've asked you this before, but we both kind of came from this art place and then
hmm
transitioned to fitness. And so you did like a full academic exploration of art and sculpture and then transitioned to fitness. How did that transition happen for you?
Honestly, I half jokingly say the one thing I learned in grad school is I didn't want to be in art. I didn't want to be in academia. My whole goal was to, get my master's degree, become a professor somewhere, get tenure, build up a pension, have a safety net, make my stuff. Um, didn't want to do that. It came time, grad school was over, and I'm like, I'm a young married man, and I'm like, geez, I got to do something to help support the family here.
Mm-hmm.
Literally jumped in my truck, drove down the interstate till I got to a town called Naperville, exited off on Route 59, which is a busy street. I'm like, somebody's got to be hiring. I looked to my left, and there was a sign that says, "We're hiring." I went in, and it just happened to be a fitness retail place, sold treadmills and whatnot. I love to exercise. I've always worked out. I'm like, I could do that. Next thing you know, I'm hawking treadmills and ellipticals and home gyms. Um, Hated it. Hours of retail are terrible, horrible for a family. So met a guy, and he's like, you should really get certified as a trainer. So I got certified, and one of the things we used to do is if you bought a home gym, we would send a personal trainer out to your house to show you how to use it. Make sure
Right.
you knew how to put all the handles on and what the pec deck does and how to adjust it and all that. And I said to the owners, I'm like, well, instead of passing that information or that referral off to another company, why don't we keep it in home? Company's name was Fitness Experience. I said, why don't we have a Fitness Experience personal training division? So we started off doing that. Somebody'd buy a home gym, I'd go out and I'd talk to them for half hour, 45 minutes, show them how to use it, then try to sell my services. So managed to build up a pretty good book of businesses. Well, it's probably in the $50,000 to $60,000 a year range,
It's perfect.
which I was thrilled with at the time.
Yeah.
Then the company came to me and said, you know what, we just don't want to put the effort into making this into what it can be. You could either go back on the sales floor or you can start your own business. I'm like, I hate retail. And I'm terrified to start my own business, but I'm going to go that route. So I walked out of the store with, a decent book of business, maybe 25, 30 sessions a week. And I've ridden that for the last 20 years now.
Well, that's incredible. I mean, taking that opportunity of speaking to people, going in for a completely different purpose, and then being able to show the value of what you do and transitioning them to personal training. I mean, that's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it was it was a lot of fun. At first, it was very nerve wracking going in and talking to people. I got pretty good at it doing sales on the floor, but it actually started me on the whole sales process, and figuring out how to do it,
Yeah.
which worked, like I said, for a while. It worked pretty well for a while.
That's fantastic. Now, Lewis, I know one of the first times that we had a conversation before you joined the mentorship, we were just talking about kind of goals. And I know you talking about setting things up for retirement and legacy, and also, what's the next version of Lewis from a business growth perspective. If you don't mind me asking, I mean, what was your biggest frustration or hurdle that you were trying to overcome before joining the Fitness Pro mentorship?
Oh, you know, well, you hit on one of them, which is, I'm 50 now, and I've got an IRA and I've got some retirement account things, but how do I make sure I have enough that in 20 years when I'm done doing this, you know, I can I can support myself. I can have a retirement.
Hmm.
Um, thought about it a little bit when I was in my 20s and 30s, but you know, nothing like realizing you're on the downside of your career time wise to slap you in the face and say, dude, let's get going on that.
Of course.
So there was that aspect of it. Um, and having the conversation with you, I've always gotten referrals. I've always had business. I never really worried about it. Client sells their house and moves to the city or something like that. Um, Another client just seemed to show up. So having 25 to 30 hours a week in training just was never really a big issue.
Hmm.
But there was always that underlying stress of, oh crap, they're going to sell their house and move. What am I going to do? That was 3 times a week.
Right.
That's 300. That's $1,200 a month. Holy, what the heck? Um, I sure hope it works again. I hope I get that referral again.
Yeah.
And I realized, you know what? I need to I need to have a way of guaranteeing that I can get people. Um, so that was a big part of it. And then honestly, the third thing that really made me do it was I had an opportunity 15 years ago to get in on RTS at an earlier stage. I pushed it off for 4 or 5 years before I went to the classes.
Yep.
Had an opportunity to get in on a couple of other education things early on. And I'm like, oh, we'll see how it plays out. So I was always this kind of risk adverse, I don't know kind of thing. And I decided, you know what? We're going to do that this time. We're jumping in. We're doing it. What's the worst that happens? So then here we are.
And
Signed up.
it seems like the worst that's happened is not so bad from what we're going to talk about in a couple minutes around some of the value stuff, which is absolutely fantastic. But I think you said something really, really key there. It's that so many personal trainers are dependent on the referral. It's the only form of business that they acquire. They wait for it to rain, and cheesy soundbitey thing. But at the end of the day, like you said, if you have a 3-time-a-week client that disappears and that's $1,200 a month that goes away on you, you do need an infrastructure, systems, and processes to draw new people in. You need to have the processes to have an outbound conversation with someone you don't know and try and get them to come in. And I've definitely seen you go through that transition and do some things outside of your comfort zone and really grow and, financially benefit from that. So kudos to you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
What would you say the biggest problem the mentorship solved for you?
Ooh, that's a long list.
Let's do it. Give me
Had
the
lots
list.
apparently I had lots of problems I didn't even know I had until I signed up for FPM. Um, no, seriously, the it's part of it. Well, to begin with was when we first started, we talked a little bit about, maybe I'm going to open up a studio. Do I want to go that route? Do I want to hire other trainers to work for me? Um, am I going to continue just being in somebody else's facility? I just didn't know what was going to work for me. Conversations with yourself and Glenn, we really got clarity on what I wanted my business to look like. Um, your podcast on, do you want to have a business? Do you want to be a gym owner? I think it was reasons why you shouldn't open a gym, something along those lines.
Yeah.
And I realized, yeah, I don't want to do that right now. I really don't.
Yeah.
So getting clarity on what I wanted my business to look like was enormous. That was huge from a stress standpoint. It was just something I don't have to, I don't think about it anymore. I'm just very comfortable with where I'm at. I'm very happy and very thrilled with how my business is. Um, I don't feel the stress of, God, at this point in my career, I should probably have a studio and have people working for me. I just don't feel that anymore. So I really appreciate you guys doing that for me and helping me through that process. And then a system. Um, I've had a lot of education over the last 20 years and learned a lot of really valuable information on things to do with clients and problem solving, helping people meet their goals, that kind of thing. But sort of like with sculpture, they when I was in art school, we learned how to make art and talk about it and do all those things, but nobody ever told you what to do after you graduate. Like, how are you going to make a living? You know? So for years, I feel like I had all this education, but I didn't have a real system and a plan to fall back on when I needed it. Um, and now that I have that, I literally just don't worry about clients any longer. I get up every morning and I have good client retention, but if I need somebody new, I'll have somebody next week. I have no doubt. I have
I
no
want
doubt.
everyone to just rewind 10 seconds, right? You've taken away the fear of where's my next client going to come from. You've got a system in place. So if you want another client, you know exactly what to do to get somebody new tomorrow. Is that right?
Pretty much. Pretty
I
much.
love that. I would love that. And that's interesting too, because I think a lot of people join this program and they go, okay, I want to open my own gym. And the understanding that developing a business, which our business is all around health related products and helping people with health related problems, solving health related pains. When you get into opening a business, opening a gym, you think it's just more of that. But in reality, you're now starting an entirely new business model, which is the business model of wealth for trainers in your place, right? It's not just health. It is now the wealth of trainers to keep them happy and satisfied. And it's a gigantic leap. And I think it's great for some folks, but at the same time, I think that for someone like you, you've created an incredible infrastructure that is extremely lucrative with very like consistent systems. If you need something, you can make it happen. And you're all set up, man. It's awesome. How do you feel about that?
It's like I said, it's great. I mean, it's a huge stress that's just no longer in my life. I truly do not worry about it any longer.
That's
Um,
fantastic.
it was always just kind of this under the surface stress that I may not have even been aware of for a long time
Yeah.
until the client sold their house and moved. And I'm like, it bubbled up. I'm like, the
Yeah.
age old thing, life of an entrepreneur. 9 o'clock in the morning, things are great. I'm going to be a multimillionaire. 10:30 in the morning, crap, I'm going to have to file for bankruptcy. 11 o'clock, well, maybe I'll make it. Just up and down, up and down. Very challenging.
You need the systems. You need everything in place. And it's such a cliche thing that I know I've said and Taylor has said and Glenn has said, and I've said it so many times. But at the end of the day, if you're a farmer and you've got cattle and you're dependent on selling the milk of those cows to make money and pay for your family, and you're not doing everything you can to make sure those cows are healthy and they don't get sick, or the environment's not proper for them, you haven't accounted for all the things that are needing to be considered for cattle. I'm not a farmer. I'm just throwing that out there. Right. So I love that. I love that, Lewis. No, so one of the things I would say that like seem to be the most powerful strategy of we talk about so many different things that a trainer can do to promote themselves and educate people with this amazing process, which builds their reputation. But you did one thing that I love because it put you outside your comfort zone. You created some pieces of content that we call value pieces. And those value pieces alone, one piece of content turns into thousands of dollars of business for you. Do you mind speaking to that a little bit?
Oh yeah, the value piece is for people who don't know, basically it's a handout. It's basically what I created. So I've created several over the last year or so. Um, the one that has definitely given me the biggest return is centered around golf.
Mm-hmm.
And I love golf. I suck at it, but I love to play golf. Try to play golf 1 to 2 times a week during the summer when it's nice out. Um, and my buddy and I, we always go to the course. Well, when you go to a golf course, you almost always get paired with at least one, maybe two other guys to make a foursome. So now you're trapped for 4 hours with somebody. and you're going to have conversation. It's just going to happen. And invariably, the conversation will be, oh, hey, so what do you do? Oh, well, that's interesting. I was getting ready to ask you the same question. What do you do? And you find out a little bit of information. It's like, you know what? I noticed that your buddy outdrove you every single time. Do you know why that is? I don't know either. But I do this exercise thing, and you know what? I got this thing to help with golf warm up. Would you be interested in that? Because I said, it's totally free, no commitment or anything. It's just something I made to help people because I like to help people, and I just hand it to them. I keep them in my bag, although I am investigating another way of handing them out. I think I talked to Glenn about a little thing. You just hold your phone and tap their phone, and it automatically goes to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of cool. But literally, I just hand it to them. They're like, oh, okay. And it's a series of isometric exercises to warm up from the ground, from lower leg, foot, all the way up to shoulder and neck isometrics. And it spurs a conversation. Oh, well, that's kind of interesting. Why do you do that? Get to have a little bit of a talk while you're walking down the fairway, and it's just exploded. People just call me 2 weeks later. Hey, I played golf with you at Cherry Creek. Do you remember that? I'm like, yeah. Hey, how are you doing? Well, I was doing the warm-ups and it really helped. I was wondering, do you do anything else? Like, well, yeah, come on in, let's talk. So it's just been, it seems very organic, very non-confrontational, non-salesy, because
Mm-hmm.
everybody has to be sold something, right? It's just hey, here's something free. Hope it helps you out. Got any questions? Give me a call. And people keep calling me.
Thousands of dollars of new
Yeah,
clients.
$2,000, and that was from one guy that I handed out.
Yeah.
Um, he's referred 3 people to me. I had 2 consultations this last week from 2 other people that he's referred to me. And one guy signed up for an assessment, and we're going to get going. So yeah, it's just amazing. It's just amazing. I already have a decent book of business,
Yeah.
so this just fills in beautifully on just tightening up the hours that are free for me.
So is that 5 people from one piece of content or 6?
5.
That's amazing.
5 currently that have signed up. One guy that I did a consultation with, and he did not sign up at the time because he's going to Florida for the winter.
Still incredible.
He wants to give me a call when he gets back.
6 sales meeting, 5 clients from one piece of content. And so, I mean, a great way of thinking of this to anyone that's listening is that these value pieces are just lead magnets. Is we're trying to create high quality organic value that can truly help our prospect, our client avatars solve a problem, get more out of their body, more out of their life, help with one of the pains they're struggling, be it hit the ball further, feel better when they're playing golf. And for Lewis, that one thing turned into a bunch of clients. I absolutely love that. So if anyone's listening to this right now, I would encourage you want to read a free tactic, create one free piece of content that can help whoever you work with, whoever your client is. And when next time you're out golfing or at the hockey arena or doing whatever you do, talk to people about it and offer it to people if it seems like it's a good fit. Because who knows, it could have turned into 5 new clients like Lewis. Lewis, I'm super excited for you. That's absolutely incredible. How does that feel?
It's awesome. On top of that, it makes my all my golf greens fees a legitimate business expense. So if I factor that money in, it's well over $2,000.
We don't teach that strategically, but sounds like a great way to run a business for sure.
I already ran against my accountant. She agreed it's fine.
That's amazing. Now, Lewis, so one of the things I've had a lot of people ask is, I mean, there are so many different types of educational programs and content in there. We've had people say, well, hey, why should I hire a mentor like you? Where does that fit in? In your opinion, where does having a mentor or hiring someone for a specific skill fit into business development?
Oh, it goes back to we've got, amazing education, spent thousands and thousands of dollars on learning our craft and trying to master our craft. But if you don't have a way of getting that in front of people, if you don't have a system for letting people know what you do in a genuine, high integrity way, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle. And I think that's one reason why it's so many people become insurance salesmen or something after 5, 6 years in the industry. They love it. They really enjoy it, but they just can't make a living doing it. So unless you've already got your education on marketing and business development and just systems on even how to manage your business, manage the numbers and track your progress. I did one value piece, handed it out to one guy, and has more than paid for what I paid for Fitness Pro Mentors. And it's the teach them how to fish kind of thing. I know how to do it now. So it's the return on investment is just it's outstanding. On top of that, it's everything that you guys offer, which is, you go take a class and you sit there for the week, 10 weeks, 10 months, whatever the class is, and you go through it and it's great. And you learn all these things and there's support while you're there. And then you test out, you get your certification and you run around with your piece of paper saying, look at what I got. Then you go put it in the real world and you're like, oh no, I haven't seen that before. We didn't talk about that in class. Now what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
So the continued support from you guys in FPM, the community that is available to you to just, either go out on Voxer and just ask a question. And you get 15 different responses for different ideas. If I truly believe if I ever had a question, I could just send you a message and say, hey, you got 5 minutes? I got a question for you. I'd like to bounce an idea off you, and you'd be happy to do it. That's the kind of thing that just doesn't happen very often. Just doesn't happen very often.
Well, Lewis, I'm honored to hear such great things, and I'm happy you enjoyed everything. I mean, our goal with the offer that we create for the program is to really help people like you have everything they need to succeed. And I say it consistently in the program. I personally, and Glenn and Taylor, we try to have no secrets. And I really believe that there are no secrets, evident with everything you just said there. So I love it, Lewis. Thank you for everything you've done. I mean, you've put the time in and the work in, and you're reaping the benefits, and you've paid off the entire program just by doing 1 or 2 pieces of content. So it's just admirable. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been fantastic.
So Lewis, I got one more question to put a pin in today, and I love this one. It's actually my favorite. Is what would you say? What is something inspirational you would say to someone who is struggling with their career, not enough clients, not enough money, unsure of the next steps? What would you say to them to try and help them out?
It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not you. In fact, if you have a fledgling business, you've already got something. The thing I love about our industry is you get instant feedback from your clients on how you're doing. It's a personal training industry. Personal. Clients want to help you. Clients will let you know if you are doing the right thing. If you have that already, there's no reason why you can't have a full-fledged business. The problem is you just don't know how. You don't know the steps. And there's no reason why you should, because you haven't had any education on it. It's a kind of a you don't know what you don't know kind of thing. So you guys have, you put together just a tremendous program that makes it really, I want to say easy, but it's not easy because there's a ton of information. And I remember going through the program, I felt like for the first 3 weeks, I'm like, what? There's so much. What about this? What? And Glenn, my mentor, he was like, okay, just take a big breath and chill out, dude. It's going to be fine. And, helps you through the process. And it was overwhelming, because there was so much quality information, but there's also so much that I didn't know.
Yep.
So when you first hear the information, you didn't even know you didn't know that. It's overwhelming. But you guys were fantastic on helping me, and I know some of the other people I've talked to through that process. Yeah, it's not your fault. It's not your fault you don't have the business you want.
It is not your fault.
Yeah, just find somebody to help you out, put it in play. It'll happen. It'll happen.
Well, Lewis, I'm glad. Thank you for saying all that. I think someone will definitely resonate with that. And I love that it's not your fault, because it's true. I mean, the truth is, and that's the whole reason why we started this program, is there are so many stupidly brilliant trainers I know that have not learned the business skills, the systems, sales processes, the marketing, the retention skills to grow their business to the level they need to have the life that they want. making 10K per month to most trainers, or opening a studio that makes multiple 5 figures per month. It sounds insane and like a pipe dream, but in reality, it's not their fault because they haven't learned the skills that they need to be able to do that, like you're saying. And so we've tried to do everything we can between the mentorship and our leaders program to give everything that people need and inundate them with all the business information so they can succeed and make it rain just like you. So Lewis, thank you for being a rainmaker and paying for this mentorship and paying for your golf membership entirely through a couple hours of content.
Thank you. It's been fantastic.
Lewis, thank you. Before we go, is there anything you'd like to say to the world of Fitness Pro mentors?
Oh, you didn't prompt me with that question, Brandon. I don't know. Just get out there and do it, man. It's such a rewarding industry we're in. Everybody can benefit from it. Make your business grow from it. It's worth it.
Everyone just get out there and do it. And if you're listening to this and you're interested in making thousands of dollars from doing a couple hours of content and learning about the exact systems that Lewis used to increase his business, make money, pay off his golf membership, have a great time, and create a definite future for himself, please send us a message. I would love to tell you about it and see if we can do anything right away to help out. And hey, if you're listening to this, I'm happy to give anyone who wants to listening to this a 15-minute free audit call to give you some suggestions around social media, your website to improve your presence. But Lewis, thank you so much. I love it. I really appreciate you as a human, and I've been honored to be able to help and myself and Glenn in this program see you succeed even more. So thank you for being you.
Thank you. Thank you for the offers.
All right, Lewis, have a wonderful one. We'll talk to you real soon.
Take care, Brandon.